What's up there, HSB Gen? What's up, Axel? What's up, Charmanzard? I haven't seen it yet, HSB Gen. I went to look at it today, but Twitter wasn't loading the image. Yeah, there's an extra T in there. Yeah, I noticed that. Let's do this. We can fix that while I get things ready here. Oh, let's see. Where is that at? Is it OBS? Stream starting soon. That's JPEG, but we gotta go back to. I want to say Midway Local is where I keep all those. I was talking for a minute there. I was muted. I didn't even realize it. Alright, so we'll fix that up. Thanks for pointing that out. I didn't realize it was it was misspelled. That's kind of funny, but all right. Let's see which wrong. Oh, I see. You got him without him sitting in his chair. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Wonder how that is. If that sprite is drawn all together, or if there are two separate sprites that it does. That'd be kind of neat if it was two separate sprites, because then we can kind of make that work. All right, so. That looks a little better. Alright, so let's see, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? Yeah, it can be added as a custom graphic. Definitely can be. So let's see, I got a little time to stream. I wasn't planning on having any time to stream. I was building a porch swing for my wife. She's been wanting one for like 4 years, so I figured it'd be nice to finally build her one for Mother's Day. Alright, so today let's work on the tower modifications. And one of the things we're going to do is build a random ladder opposed to the 4 static ones they give you. And then we'll also do the test your might option. And we already have, I'm just debating on the options because I want to keep it optional. So if someone doesn't want to have the changes and the added test your mights and stuff like that, they can just keep it off if they want to. So I'm wondering if I should keep, if I should have a new option for the test your might, or should I just include it within the randomizer option. It doesn't fit the description in it, and it probably hard and overlooked by anybody who doesn't play the game that much. So I'm thinking let's put it as an option, and people can turn it on or off if they want to. So here's our options, our default options anyways. And let's go check the list here, because I probably should fill some of those in with some. Or I mean, do we even need an option for it? Wouldn't you guys think it would? It's not a big deal to have it every 2 matches instead of every 3. I think anybody that's played the game a lot would probably enjoy that, and anybody who hasn't played it that much, they probably won't even realize it. So I guess that's the decision here. Now we're just getting started here, Master. I'm just about to do a new option for the towers. We'll do like random towers, and then we're gonna have test your might between every 2 matches instead of 3. Well, if I let people pick, Master, that's going to require a lot more work on my end, because I have to check that value when creating random ladders. And it's not a big deal, but I guess it would be kind of neat to be able to pick. So let's do this. Let's do the randomizer here. We can do that. I mean, we'll do it, and I'll put the default on at 3. And then people can choose whatever they want, but alright, so Let's see. Test your might. Test your mights. Let's put an S on there. Yeah, we'll just do that.
Sub-Zero.
Alright, so we'll do string, gesture might right here, and we'll do array strings on and off. Alright, so this, frequency. Test your might. Game. Alright, I'm back. Hey, what's up, Cabuloso? How you doing? What's up, Derek? Alright, so right now we're putting in it's gonna be option 31. This is going to be test your might frequency. So these here are the descriptions in the submenu. So it's pretty much going to say this sets the frequency of the test your might games. Alright, so we'll add this to the gameplay options. And what we're going to do is let's set okay, we're going to have to update this in the main menu because it looks like this is going to change. Not a big deal. So we'll set a new array for the strings. We'll just call this numbers. Actually, let's do test your might. Alright, so we're going to have string off, and then what we're also going to have to do is have our numbers. So let's do our numbers here. We'll do 0. Let's copy that. 1. Actually, yeah. We don't need 0. Actually, we can just put off because 0. I'm gonna have 0 as off. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Say 10. Is 10 good? Do we need a number higher than 10? I don't know his ending off the top of my head. I don't think I noticed it, or else I probably would remember. So, thanks, Derek. I just find something that I try to find something everybody enjoys, and make sure it's a long playlist or something like that, because streams usually go for hours. All right, so we got string 1. Let's do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so array, test your might, that's going to be our strings. So I believe this should be 9 for our option choice, and then let's go up here and well, let's do this. Let's minimize this stuff so it's a little easier for us. Gameplay settings. Alright, so this is we got gameplay style, gameplay mechanics, we got randomizer, and now we have test your might frequency. Option 31 for test your might. And then it's going to be a single style option, so that's all we need to do is put that in for option 2. And we should be able to test out this menu. Oh, that sucks, HSP Gen. Hope things get better. They generally do. Alright, so let's go. First, let me fix my. There we go. Let me put this in here. Yeah, looks like we have plenty of room. So let's see if our menu option is appearing like it should. If not, we'll have. Oh, it's our main menu. We have to update. Remember the that string needs to be, the main menu relies on this static location, right? Where is it at here? Not arrays. Or was it? Let me do a search. There we go. So we have to update this address in the main menu. Alright, so here's test your mites. This sets the frequency of the test your mite games. off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then off. We should probably increase that 1 so we get to 10 in there. So let's put that. Congratulations, huh? Alright, so this is just the option. We don't have any code yet to but this is, we have to find every place that this the tester might is called, because well, we can override the factory tower sequence as well. Oh goodness, man, that's crazy. Sorry, Derek. If it makes you feel any better, my wife's been asking for this porch swing for 4 years, and there was many times I told her, yeah, that's the first thing I'll do is I'll do your porch swing, you know, and I just never got to it, and I felt bad because, you know, those 4 years I've accumulated new arcade games, and you know, she's still waiting on her porch swing. So I finally got it in gear and realized I should probably make that for her. She's awesome though. She supports this little hobby of mine as well. So what more can I ask for? She's an amazing cook too. I think we made that clear a couple nights ago. All right, so we have our setting, but what we have to do also is we have to also declare the default option for when you fire this up. It's going to, if you've never, or if you have a new revision, or your CMOS battery dies, or it doesn't save, whatever, it's got to know what value to set it for on default. So we are going to do that. So let me finish marking these down so I can. What was that? 31, I believe, right? Because 30 is randomizer. Okay. So 31 is texture might frequency. Oh yeah, she's definitely a keeper. We've known each other since we were kids in grade school. She lived across the street from me when I was in grade school. So we've known each other for a long time, and we've been together for about 20 years now. Alright, so we got our randomizer option set here. Our default, actually we don't, we have to set that. So our default frequency for our tester mites are every 3 games. So we save that, and we got our 10th value setting also in there, so we can set up to 10. I don't see any reason why you would have it over 10, especially when we have an off option. So 0 is going to equal off. It's probably going to be something with MK2. I know that. That's a hard one to pinpoint because there's so many good things I've done with it. Wow. I've got to say, I've got to say 2 versus 2 tag team on MK2. That's by far one of my favorite accomplishments of that game, of probably any of these games, because it's coming to the other games as well. Hornbuckle's okay. It didn't take much for Hornbuckle though, but I mean, the character itself didn't take a whole lot. I guess the other setups and requirements and stuff like that to do it took a little bit longer. But that was cool, bringing him to life, because I know a lot of people liked Hornbuckle, just from a rumor too. I mean, it's great to bring him alive. You're too much. Oh, Derek, tag is where it's at. Tag is just Google MK2 tag team. You'll see we had a tournament. I drove about 2.5 hours down to Cincinnati for a Mortal Kombat tournament, the Cincinnati Classic Combat Classic. We had a 2 versus 2 tournament there, and I got some of that footage. So I'm sure it's floating around there on YouTube. So it gets pretty hectic in a fun way. Because you can tag in and out, and you can set up combos and stuff like that. You can use a tag, as a defensive maneuver, or the setup. It's crazy, and the combo counters and stuff like that all play into it, so you can carry over a combo through a tag and stuff like that. So it was quite a feat, and that's probably the best thing that I feel I've done on MK2. Alright, so we've got our options here set. So next we need to find, well, let's update our main menu so we don't crash, because our main menu needs to be updated whenever we change that location. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. We can probably change it in a more dynamic manner later, but so what I can do is I can probably change that right now. Instead of relying on these strings, I can carry them over into the main menu and just use them from there. I think that's what I'll do. So let's do a search for array. Alright, so this might be it. Let's continue down the line just to make sure. Let's check these here. FFFD. String, classic combat. I don't think do I have those in here? Okay, I do, so it's not it. It was the... Okay, so this is what's causing the crash. We gotta update this. So this is pretty much this is getting the setting from options. And it's displaying the actual string of what game mode it is, because I added that to the main menu. It tells you if it's classic or tournament or what was the other one, turbo mode. That's right. So we'll just make that static, and we'll just put that in here. As soon as I find the end of this routine, we can pop it in there. Okay, so we can do array game mode strings. Let's do this. Let's put an error there. That way we can jump back and forth real fast. Alright, so our settings are, I believe, classic, turbo, and then tournament in that order. So let's do gameplay classic. Is that how? Let me make sure. Let's just copy this over. Make sure everything's about the same. The classic turbo mode in tournament. So let's just copy those. Well, we don't need this one. So now we don't have to rely on where those are at in our settings. We can just run these ones right here. We can add the array strings, gameplay style. We'll just use that. CAO. And if that's right, it should. Okay, so we should be good there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep those errors there just for convenience, just in case we have an error somewhere. So let's copy that over. And we'll grab our settings here. Actually, let's make sure my jump hasn't moved on this since we have a second jump. D4FO, nope, we're good there. So I can't remember if I copied our settings over. So let's do that. And then we will launch it and verify we have our 10 options, or 11 options actually. Or is it 10? It's 11, yeah, 0 or off, and then 1 through 10. And then we'll make sure our main menu is back to working order. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Launched a new one here. We'll get out of there. Okay, so it looks like we're good there. Let's go to settings now and make sure we have no problems here. Oops, wrong one. Gameplay settings. Okay, everything looks kosher. Let's find a spot to put our code and write a routine for frequency of the test your mites. So we have to find out where we can probably close the MK settings one. That's all done. Main menu, all done. Actually, let's remove these errors. I removed that one, and then we'll get rid of this one, and we'll add a. Alright, so that's good. Let me see something here. Let me open up options again real fast. I don't think I tied any routines into here. No, I didn't think so. Okay. It's option 31. Okay. So let's do this. Still got that head cold. This is what, day 4 maybe. I don't usually ever get sick either. It's one of those things though. Son brought it home from school. Wife got it. I got it. Kids. Let's see here. Trying to catch up here in the chat. Let's see. The Airmac thing in MK1, I don't know. I just don't feel it was that big of a rumor with MK1. I don't know. I mean, if you were to ever be in MK1, you guys wouldn't know about it. That's not something I would stream. It'd be a secret. Yeah. You know what I was watching though, Derek? On that point of you need a friend to be able to play tag mode is I was watching Mike Marte. I don't really know how to pronounce his name correctly. But it was he's a Twitch streamer, and they got something that they're doing. It's like an add-on for Twitch. It's called Crowd Control, where there's a handful of supported games that allow you to. I think you got to spend like your Twitch currency to interact, but you can do stuff with the game with the host while he's playing it. Like for instance, he was playing Super Mario, and they were giving him a Yoshi, or they'd give him like a 1-up or something like that, or they can change his controls. They can invert his controls, or they can cast a swimming spell or ice spell, stuff like that. You can spawn things. It was kind of cool to see the interaction between the viewers and the hosts, and they were able to manipulate the game that he was playing. So I was thinking that maybe they still support more than just like the Super Nintendo and Nintendo games. Maybe they'll do some MAME stuff in the future, because a lot of Lua scripting. So I think it should be pretty compatible. So that'd be kind of cool, and maybe they can do it to the point where streamers can play against the viewers. That'd be kind of neat. Yeah. Alright, so where do we start in looking for our test your mites? So let's do this. Let's open up our definitions here. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our watch point on the the ladder here. This is going to be the one for the location of the ladder sequence. So we'll start there. So it should break right here, and it did, and we are loading the location of the ladder, and then it should be breaking it down. And this is what we're looking for. If your ladder has an F in it, that means it is a test your might. So if we were to go in here and punch in this address for the ladder, let's see, 0. Okay, there is no ladder yet because it's making it. So I guess there's a couple ways we can do this. If we're gonna do random ladders, we should probably intercept at the ladder creation itself. But the problem with that is these ladders are all static and stored on the ROM, so we can't really manipulate them when they're stored on the ROM. We need them in RAM. So we can, for the static ladders that are stored on ROM, I'm thinking we can probably just do an option check and skip the fight, or add a, skip the test your might or add one, depending on our option value. And then for the random ladders, they'll be stored in RAM, and we can intercept those on the ladder creation and put them in wherever. Yeah, I like to watch a lot of AVGN. They're pretty funny. My favorite one, Derek and Master, is, I saw it the other day. It was I never seen this. It's an older one, but it has to do with the Nintendo World Championship cartridges, and it's got Pat the NES Punk in it, and they kind of try to trick each other into trading Nintendo World Championship games. It's a good one. I actually laughed quite a few times in that one. Alright, so let's see. So this is irrelevant to us now because we can't do anything about this. Actually, no, we actually can do something about this right here. We can check our option when it's loading it from ROM, and if it doesn't meet our requirement, then we can skip it, and we can add it. So we'd have to do a few things in here. We'd have to, for one, we'd have to eliminate all the checks for the F's at this point, because say for instance it's the third match and there's an F for test your might. We don't want it to create such a thing. We want to check our option and then determine whether or not we put a test your might in between a certain match. Yeah, Graham, we can hide life bars. Actually, I have a simpler way to do this. I just realized something. Let's do this. Let's not even mess with the ladders at all. We can simply, because it's going to be a linear process when it goes to a test your might, we can simply check our option, and then another value that is going to hold how many matches it's been since the test your might has been done. And if it doesn't match, then we can just simply return and not even do the test your might. Or we can do it, the opposite as well. We can can check, and if it's time for one, we can, you know, inject one. What's up there, Valentino? All right, so let's go further in here. Let's see. So 105.19 FO is going to be the ladder we're using. And then I wonder if there's a position. There probably isn't. There probably is not a position in RAM that says how many matches they've. Well, there has to be on 2-player. All right, so let me see. Maybe I have it already. Let's check. Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with it. There probably is one somewhere. I just don't have it defined. There's got to be. So. What's up, Axel? Well, there's a few things, Valentino. There's I got to make a palette for his frozen status, and I also have to do this palette for test your might. Because right now it crashes if it doesn't test your might, because his index is out of bounds, so it doesn't know what character to load. It's not a big deal. It's just palette stuff, and I don't want to bore you guys with any palette stuff because it's time consuming, and it's best that I use 2 displays when doing it, so you guys wouldn't be able to really see most of what's going on, so it's kind of a waste to stream that. But as far as moves and functionality, finishing moves against him and stuff, all that's good. I mean, that's all functional. Alright, so, yeah, we gotta find that RAM. There's gotta be a section in RAM that shows us how many matches it's been since Test Your Might. So if we play 2 matches on 2-player, the third one should be a Test Your Might, am I right? I mean, anything's possible, Master, but, I mean, just because you can doesn't mean you should. You know what I mean? Let's see, get next opponent. I bet that is going to be... There we go. Let's do that. Let's put a break on get next opponent. We'll play a couple matches here and get to Test Your Might and see if we can... Alright, so this is increasing our ladder position. Getting our opponent, which looks to be Sub-Zero. Just checking to see if it's Sonya for some reason. Wait a minute, what does Sonya have to do? Or is it, maybe it's not the character ID, maybe it's the match number. I bet that's what it is. If we look at match number 6, we've got, gonna put 6 as the stage option. And what is stage number 6 off the top of my head? I don't know. Let's see. 6 is Goro's Lair again. So here's the value. We might want to keep an eye on. This might be, or may not be, what we're looking for. 105.18 CO is incrementing. It's comparing it to 4. Let's see what this is. It's not 4, it's 1. Up to FF99. So that's resetting to 1 after every 3. That sounds about kind of what we're looking for. Something that happens every 3 matches. What's up there, Arturo? How you doing? Alright, so we got 105.18 CO. We're going to mark that down. We don't know what that is yet, but we're going to find out. And we have a new array. Let's check that out. I always like finding new arrays. It's like digging for buried treasure. Let's see. Array endurance transition randomizer. 4. I don't know. Alright, so this is filling the health bars. Setting the game timers. Game mode 1. 12C in the AO. What is 12C in decimal? 12C is 300. Never gonna dance again. Yep. Little synth, guilty eyes. E1 into A1, 3E8. 1,000. Okay. So we're multiplying, what are we multiplying here? A1 and AO? Oh, it's going to be some random off the wall number. Wow, so what are the odds that A2 and AO are going to be the same? That's a weird random value calculation. Let's try to find out what that array is. FFEB 1350. .ca. So a lot of time in doing this stuff is just a bunch of research and stuff. I mean, but the more research you do and document, the easier it gets as you go along. So it's definitely worth it. All right, I'm gonna move on from those arrays. I'm not sure what those are for. This is a big RAM format here. Checking for Goro, checking for Shang Tsung. Checking for Raiden. If it is Raiden, gonna check for stage ID, which is stage ID 4 for some reason. Why is it checking for Raiden and then checking to see if Raiden's on a specific stage? That's a little odd. I'm gonna see if it's Raiden on Throne Room. If it is Raiden on Throne Room, I'm gonna change it to second Throne Room. Oh, they got two variations of the Throne Room. One must not be compatible with Raiden, with his effect. Very interesting. That explains why there's Throne Room again. Throne Room, because this Throne Room probably isn't compatible with Raiden. It's probably causing issues. So they have another one here, which I don't really understand. Maybe it has less going on that you don't really notice. And it does the same thing for Goro's Lair as well. So I wonder if it does a check for that as well. Alright, so yeah, let me, you know what, let me mark this down because I want to save this just in case. There's going to be a time where I'm going to come back to this, I'm going to cross it again, and then I'm going to want to refresh my memory. So let's see, checks for Raiden and Throne Room. Alright, so that's done. The weather here is about 50 and really windy for some reason. Maybe mid 50s if we were lucky. It would be a nice day if it wasn't so windy out. The wind was probably 20 miles an hour. And not so much just gusts, but it was kind of frequent and consistent. Alright, so let's get out of this routine. That's our debug routine for stage select. Alright, it's going to create our fighters here. It's going to move on here. Going to say anything related to checking test your might, and that is already passed. So we'll continue on and you know, that's not going to work. So let's do. We've got infinite health on for both players, so that's not going to work. What if I could end his health this way? There we go.
Scorpion win. Flawless victory.
Alright, flat layer 0. Tower, get next opponent. Zero, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Fight.
Alright, so this is going to increase our ladder position. Gonna get our character ID. Check if it's F. If it's not F, it's gonna go here. Okay, so this might be. Let's put a breakpoint there just in case. Let's see. So this is all the end of the match stuff. It's removing instances, destroying objects, checking a flag for reptile, control status. A5, what does A5 hold right now? Because A5 is being checked up here. 1 in the A5, 2 in the A5, 3 in A5. Okay.
Scorpion win. Flawless victory.
Let's get in our fight ladder again. Let's see. Alright, so this is one of the hooks. We're probably gonna have multiple hooks because this is gonna be the one for the single player. Because those are static. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Those are static within the original fight tower sequence. So let's do. First off, let me get a snapshot of this. Save this just in case. And then the other one we're gonna have to find is the one for multiplayer, because our 2-player mode, just for the fact that it's not gonna obviously check the tower fight when you're playing 2 players. So there's got to be a second routine in there that is designed to inject a test your might if you're at a certain match. Alright, so we've got that. So let's move on here. Let's see. We can do this. We can just do put a breakpoint there, and then we can save our state there, and we can call this back if we want to, and simulate it. So let's get off that breakpoint there because we don't need that. And also, let's get off that watch point. We don't need that because I think we've got what we need for 1-player mode. So if we were to go back in here and we put F and AO, it would take us to a test your might. So
Test your might.
So we can probably, we can even do it again. Maybe not. I didn't like 2 test your mites in a row, but we can probably very easily add different materials too. They seem to be only a few sprites.
Test your might.
So we got the one sprite with just the unbroken. We have the second sprite, and then whatever's flying around, we can probably manipulate a palette to get it to look close to whatever material it is.
Fight.
Hey, look, it's the courtyard. This palace gates. What is this, man? What is this level? Palace gates. It's the palace gates in the fall. That's what I was getting at. It's because the palettes glitched out when I paused or when I loaded the state. All right, so let's see here. So we can, let's do this. Let's go FFCB 27BOH and alright, so we can do move 31H and AO. Alright, since we have let's see. Since we have a weird hook here, we're going to have to have a couple different jumps here. So we're going to jump to compare FH and 28BO. Okay, so if it is FH into AO, we're going to jump to 28BO, which that's just going to... Okay. FFCB 28BO. This is what's going to happen if it's Hey, what's up, Doken? How you doing, man? That's gonna be normal checks there. 2890 is going to yield a set C. So if it's 0, set to 0, we're gonna jump to FFCB 27EO. First, let's do this. We got to move. We're gonna have to preserve our AO option because it's gonna hold our match ID coming up. So let's move AO into our stack pointer, and then after that, we will. Let's see. We'll move it back there. We'll check it. We have a couple different branches here just because of the way it is. If it's 0, meaning it's going to be off, we're going to jump to. Let's rename this because normal is 3, and it's not going to be normal if it's off. So it's going to jump to off checks, which is pretty much going to check for the end of the fight ladder. We got to have that check in there. But if it's not 0, we got to add our new checks for counts. you doing, Knuckles? ¿Cómo estás, man? Alright, so let's see, where were we? So I think I want to just get rid of this whole compare F thing because that's just gonna, let's just eliminate that. Let's just go off of our value that we got. And roll with that. We're gonna have to check another static area in RAM that we're gonna have to store a value to, custom location that we'll use to track. All right, 1 second here. All right, so BO is going to jump here if it is time for a test your might. It's going to go to 2970. It's going to jump over here. Okay, so that's where we want to jump to. If it is a test your might, that's a good location to know. Let's see, what was that? FFCB 28 BO. So that is that's where we're gonna jump if it's a test your might time. So what we want to do is, I think, if we're going to just eliminate this whole F check, because I don't think it's needed. It's going to cause more problems than what we need, because we're going to do it a simple way. We're just going to keep track ourselves of how many fights in RAM, and we will check our option and see if it's time for a test your might. Thanks, Doken. Alright, let's see here. Let's go back to where we were doing. So we're going to get rid of the compare FO. We don't need that. We will need to preserve our AO value because, actually, let's do this. We won't have to preserve if we pull in the check for the end of the ladder prior, because if it is the end, then there's no need for a test your might anyways. Alright, so where are we going if we need, it's 2890. Oh, we don't even have to jump anywhere, we can just do a set C and return. Okay. So we can just set C here. and then return. And if it's not FFFF, we can check our check for test your mites. Alright, so we can get rid of the preservation of A0. We won't need that. Get rid of this. Get rid of that as well. So if we call this A0 is going to return our setting for how many matches between test your might is called. But if our option is turned off, we want to jump back to jump equals compare 10. Okay, so we have a 0 compare. So we will have to we will have to preserve our A0 because we have one more check, which is going to come. It's going to come after. That should be good. Alright, so we are storing our A0 value, and then we are also checking our flag to see if our option is turned off. If it is turned off, we want to jump to, let's see, actually jump to address, not runtime, because this is going to be an absolute value. We are going to jump to FFCB. 2810 should be so we will let's store this in our options, and we will save this as test your might. Alright, so if it's 0, it's turned off. It's going to jump to 2810, which is going to jump back here and check if the ID is 10. I believe 10 is a value for an endurance match. So if it's 10 or greater, it's going to jump here to 2A30, which is down here. And it's going to do some endurance stuff to set up the endurance match. If it's less than 10, it's just going to call the tower next opponent. So what we need to do here is, at the end of this, is we're just going to simply jump back to FFCB 2840, which is the continuation of the tower and gets next opponent. But if it's not 0, our option, that is, we have to check to see how many matches it's been since a test your might, compare it with our value, and if it matches, we'll do a test your might, and then we'll reset our value for the match count. So I believe there's going to be a value somewhere in RAM that's going to track how many fights it's been between test your mites, because I believe it does it in 2-player mode as well. So we can try to find that, or we can create our own address to store our own track if we want to do it that route. So that's where we're at now. We got to find a place in RAM to track the matches, the quantity of matches it's been before test your might, so we know whether or not to call one up or to get the next opponent on the tower. All right, so let's do. So let's follow this. Let's follow this test your might and see if it somehow might run through that value in RAM. So we'll trigger it as a test your might, and it's going to increase our ladder position here. It's going to jump over, and what it's doing now, it's recorrecting the stack pointer, because right now we are in we're in a routine. So doing that realigns it. And then let's see what this is. Move 5 in AO. Okay, so here's something I ran across before, and I kind of marked it as unknown, and I thought it was strictly related to test your might, hence the name unknown test your might. But I've been seeing it in other places as well, so it's not just for test your might. And let's see if we manipulate AO, if that does anything. I want to say last time I think I tried this, but it didn't seem to do anything. Seems like the wood's the same, the level to break the wood is the same, and the points is the same, so it didn't do anything with that. So we can run that back. Let's go higher. Let's, I don't know, let's...
Test your might.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it changed anything there as well. Allow it to play through. Let's see where it takes us. No higher. Same spot. Alright. So we still have no idea what that value is for. It's 105, 1A80. It's currently at 4 right now. So does that reset to 5 every time there's a test your might? That's the next question that's popping in my head. So let's write that 105, 1A80. That's another spot in RAM that's questionable. It might hold something related to the match count between test your mights. Yeah, I can do that. Let me
Test your might.
Here you go, Derek. Yeah, you don't get much of anything. It'd be cool if you get Shang Tsung that laughed at you. Alright, so let's go back through that. Let's trigger a test your might. And then here's the jump. This is going to be all the test your might stuff here. It's going to format everything. It's going to turn the screen black. 105 1COO. See, that's another location in RAM that is not defined yet, so I'm not sure what that is. It is at, oh, look at that, it's at 3. But it shouldn't be at 3 if it was a normal call of the test your might, just because I forced it to go into test your might. But just in case, I'll jot that down. Alright, let's follow this in a little bit. 105, 1A60. That's got nothing there. Just checking out what registry 14 is going to be loading into. 105 1200. Five 1200 has the value of 1. Process string header, which is going to be an A8. So let's see what this is calling. This is probably going to call the test your might string, I believe. So let's mosey on over here and check out A8 FFDB D150. Okay, this is going to be... Okay, so we found a new value in RAM that we know. That's going to be what type of material it is, it seems like, because it's 1. And the first one's wood, but you know, you got to keep in mind a lot of times these arrays, the indexes start at 0, so that might not be the case. But we can manipulate this at 105 1200. And see what happens. So if we want to do something other than wood, let's say we do 4, and then we pull that in A0. It's going to be 4. Oh, I see. If it's 0, it jumps to D670. It doesn't even do it, maybe. So let's play that.
Test your might.
So no, that wasn't it either. That didn't change anything either. We got a lot of... They're making us work for it. So let's go through that again. Alright, so... we are back to where we were. Let's set a breakpoint on there. Alright, Graham, I'll see you. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, so...
Test your might.
So it runs back through here again. And it's 0, okay.
Test.
Alright, so let's go back through here again. We'll figure this test your might out a little bit. A little bit at a time, but we'll get it. Let's see, so we were in this procedure there. Let's put a breakpoint here. Let's jump over that last one. Alright, so let's look up the FFDB D220. First off, let me do FFCB. Alright, so if you can see here, these are our test your might materials: wood, stone, steel, ruby, and diamond. So this array is for the test your might material names. I'll just mark that real fast, and then we will check to see what this is pointing to in A8. FFDB D3CO. Okay, so it's setting it. Hold on, that doesn't seem right. Let me try that again because it seems like the string is starting a little bit later than what it should. D3CO. No, it's starting right there apparently for some reason. Right on the T of stone, but anyhow, we'll continue on and see where this takes us. DO70, let's see, it's going to be the same thing again here. That's why we had 2 breakpoints, because it runs through the same thing again. So we're breakpoint there, and then I'm going to go back over to the hex editor and see what that FFDC0470 value takes us to. Alright, looks to be like another string header, and in this case it looks like it's going to be the instructions to play the game, which is low attacks, increase power, block button strikes. Alright, so it's just a linear process of setting up a stage here. It's setting the material name here, and then setting up the instructions here. And then it's going to set the stage here. Another string. This is the stage set up here. Going to load the stage there. Let's put a breakpoint there. Let's see what this routine is after. Okay, it's more stage setup. Alright, so we're still looking for a value in RAM that could be useful for us for tracking how many fights it's been since we've had a Test Your Might. I mean, it may not even run through player 1, since player 1 is tracked, you know, through the ladder arrangement, because that's what it shows. Any ID on a match that is IDF is gonna direct us to Test Your Might. But there is one for 2 players, so I know there's one out there somewhere. All right. So this is set up our character sprites here. It's gonna do all that. We're gonna skip all this because we don't. All right, so let's do. Let's do a breakpoint there.
Test your
Alright, so that's
might.
these are going to be the values that probably lower or raise our might meter. So let's see when. Okay, let's get off of that breakpoint because that's going to keep triggering every time. Alright, so this is going to chop our wood. Alright, so we got another, what is this, 1 CO? Okay, so we got 1 CO already marked as, oops, let me see, 1 CO. So if 1 COO is 0, it's going to play 2 sounds. Format the screen, and return. Let's see, and then it's gonna AO into 1 CO. Okay, that's our delay. Before we return to the ladder screen. Destroy threads, jump. Alright, this looks like some main system stuff here. Nothing at all related to test your might. It's gonna darken the screen, go back to the this is gonna be format. Alright. Yeah, I agree. I love the Test Your Might mini game as well. It's gonna. I wish they would have kept it. Alright, so let's do alright, so we got our address we're gonna hook into, which is FFCB27BL. We're gonna wipe out that F check from there. So let's do let's see, 18CO. Do I have that up there? I want to have all these windows for the suspected areas that we want to kind of look into, and then we're gonna just play a couple two-player matches and see if we see a value either incrementing or decrementing that's gonna dictate test your might between two-player matches. So we go 18 CO, we have 1A80, 1COO, and 105 1200. So these four windows are what we're gonna focus on here.
Sonya, Liu Kang. Fight!
Alright, so let's do... let's get rid of this life for Sonya. She's got too much life. We gotta take care of that.
Liu Kang win. Flawless victory. Fight!
Alright, we got 3, 5, 2, 1. Okay.
Finish her. Liu Kang win. Flawless victory.
Okay, this one decremented 3, 5, 2, 1. So let's go over here, and that is 1A80. I'll just put that down right there, and
Johnny Cage Raiden. Fight! Raiden wins. Flawless victory. Fight! Finish him! Raiden wins. Flawless victory.
alright, so once again, 1A80 decremented. It's got 3, 3, 2, 1.
Johnny Cage Liu Kang. Fight! Liu Kang wins. Flawless victory. Finish him. Liu Kang wins. Flawless victory.
Alright, so we'll save that there just in case. It's interesting, it went up to 3, back down to 2. I'm sorry, no, we were decrementing, that's right. So we are down to 2, 3, 5, 2. So these 3 windows here are pointless. They don't do anything concerning our match counts.
Sub-Zero Scorpion. Fight. Scorpion wins. Flawless victory. Fight. Finish him. Scorpion wins. Flawless victory. Liu Kang, Johnny Cage. Fight. Johnny Cage win. Flawless victory.
Alright, Master, thanks for stopping by, man.
Fight. Finish him.
Alright, so if you're just tuning in, we're looking to put in variations for the matches between Test Your Might. It's going to be a new option in the game where I'm going to let you set how many matches have to occur before you do a Test Your Might. So right now we're just searching RAM, trying to find the location that tracks this for 2-player mode.
Liu Kang.
So the only value we got out of those 4 locations that seem to make a difference right now is the 105, 1A, 80. It was at 5 and now it's down to 0. So let's see if that does anything at 0. There we go.
Johnny Cage.
There we go. So we found out something right there, didn't we? So if that's down at 0, it's going to go to Test Your Might before it goes to fight. That's great. So if we set this 105.1 A80 to 0.
Scorpion Sub-Zero.
There we go. We've got some unknown problem going on. There might be another value. The endless drum pattern. So let's see, I'm curious on why that's even crashing. We have an outdated jump for that? I don't think so, because it was working fine for player 1-player mode. Let's see, what do we have? We have character ID subs for Reptile. Let's see if there was something in here. I know we substitute Test Your Might in here. Let's see, maybe it was the other script. So Derek, you want to hear something funny? I was talking to you about building a porch swing for my wife for Mother's Day, and I guess she tagged me in something on social media, and it's getting all my guy friends in trouble because their wives are telling their husbands to step it up. All right, so back to that. Why is that crashing? By the way, that's what bugs me right now. I'm happy we found that value, but I didn't do anything to make it crash.
Sub-Zero.
Let's try it out real fast.
Fight. Sub-Zero win. Flawless victory. Fight. Finish her. Sub-Zero.
Let's get to a test your might normally and see what happens. No, Michael, it's not done yet. There's plenty to do. I just don't have the I don't have a bandsaw to do it efficiently. So her uncle has one, so I'm gonna swing over there and get those pieces, the big pieces, done. Should only take about 10 minutes with a bandsaw. Took me like an hour to do one without it, and I wasn't very pleased with the outcome, so I figured it'd be best to do it the right way. I bet that didn't go over well, Derek. Alright, Liu Kang. Alright, so this should be...
Test your might.
Yeah, this is working fine on one player. I wonder why two players got a problem. Let's try a separate character here, just for shits. Yeah, what is up with that? You know what? Let's do this. Let's go back over here. Let's put a breakpoint on this where it jumps to test your might. Oh, it's okay. It doesn't break there. So 105, 180. There's our value that we thought, or I thought that was strictly for test your might, and it seems to be something related to that, because when we set it to 0, it goes to the test your might screen, but it also craps out on us in two-player mode. So let me do this. Let me put a breakpoint there. Let me call this up. Okay, so this is where we go to. It's the same. Procedure. It's just jump to here in a different, from a different location in two players rather than one player. So that's why this one didn't work. This is test your might location up to from single player. We'll mark that just for notes. So it does the usual formats, clears AO, turns off health bars. For a second we see all this stuff being drawn to the screen. We can see the name of the material, so we gotta think that this is all good. So it gets through all of that. So I gotta wonder if the problem is after the stage is loaded. Man, I wish this head cold would go away sometime soon. Day number 4. Alright, so I'm gonna bet that it's gonna be one of these spawned threads that are crashing here. But I'm kind of glad this started. This particular problem is here before we even put any code whatsoever into the test your might routine. So if it would have happened after I did it, I would have swore it would have been something that I did in this routine. But now we have to backtrack and see what it is that's causing our issue. Alright, so let's see when it fails anyways. Try to step through this stuff. Alright, so we got these breakpoints. Let's enable these breakpoints to see how far we get. We got B510. We got B610. We have B850. We'll throw that on. Have CAFO, we'll throw that on. Alright, so we get to B510, we get to B610, so let's take those two off. We get to B850, we'll take that off. Alright, so B850 is about as far as we get. Let's throw that out just in case it was a thread that was spawned right before that. So it's right after the stage is being loaded for test your might. Alright, so it's checking to see if a particular value, if it's at this address, and it is indeed at that address. So let's go see what FFC E3070 looks like in the hex editor. Okay, it's just a Terminator value, common for stage data, stuff like that, or stage setup for the layers. Alright, so we'll move on. There's more stage building. That looks good. Just going to create our segments here off of our characters. And our character is character 2. Okay, so it gets... That's good, we get through that, fine. A2FO, update character. Let's put a breakpoint on this procedure that's going to be spawned. and that was, what was that DOCO? A7 was E360. Let's do the same thing for this one. And the third one, this is getting pretty deep. Shit's getting deep now. Sorry, so it's, let's see. 760, and we have yet a fourth one. How many of these are we going to actually dig into before? Looks like that's the last one. We'll do that one as well. And this is going to have a delay, and okay, so here's our 0760. None of this is anything that's been modified whatsoever. Okay, so here's a little pattern here between the few of those. We got OC6, 060, 0760. They both have 50 delay. 105, 1A60. So it looks like we have two values starting off here. So let's see what we get. 105, 1A60 is one of them, and the other one is 105, 1A70. So the only difference between those two procedures is just the location that it's pulling into A5. Well, and there's a clearing of A7, I'm assuming, if it's player 1, and maybe a flag set into A7 if it's player 2, or vice versa. So 1A60 is 0 and 1A70 is 0 as well, so it doesn't really matter. This is grabbing our player 2's character ID. We got an array here. This is all good. Setting the frame, and this is doing the same thing for player 1. And now we've got a breakpoint on E, OC60, 360. So everything looks good so far. I don't see any problems. We just jumped out of our sequence for some reason. Alright, so it's interesting. Alright, let's see, do we do... That sucks, man. $880. So let's see. It could be prior to this as well. So let's do this. Let's put a watch point on the value that it reads to tell if we're going to a test your might or not. And alright, so this is where it's going to start off. This is, let me mark this too because this is going to be good to know. So this is where it checks if it's time for a test your might right here, and then it jumps over to I think what we've already got bookmarked. But we'll check this out. Test your might and 2-player mode. I'll save that as well. Alright, so we're realigning our stack pointer here. That shouldn't be an issue because it would crash way before it gets any of that stuff created. I don't think so, Abystus. We've stumbled across just a problem when 2 players go to test your might. It will start it, and then it will go to a black screen. You can see it starts drawing the items, but then it doesn't do it. It kind of just crashes, as you can tell. So I don't know what's causing that because there's no code at all that was changed with it, and it's not Reptile, so that wouldn't be a problem for the crash. But it also, another note is it works fine in 1-player mode. Let's do. I got an idea. We can narrow it down a little bit more. Let's do this. Let's play as player 2. See if it's just a player 2 thing, and we'll play as player 2 versus the computer, and check that out. So I'm kind of at a loss on why it's doing that, because there wasn't anything change to that yet. We had the option set up in the menu, but there was nothing code related hooked in yet. Alright, so let's do that.
Fight! Liu Kang win. Flawless victory. Fight!
Works fine as player 1 alone so far. I'm gonna check and see if it's fine for player 2 alone. But with player 1 and player 2, it crashes after it's created. So that is the mystery.
Liu Kang wins. Flawless victory. Fight! Finish her. Liu Kang wins. Flawless victory.
Alright, so what is this 1A20 by the way? Do we have that marked for... No, we don't. But that is real close to the 1A80 that is decremented after the match. And once it reaches 0, it goes to a test your might. So this one looks like it's incremented after every match. So what's good about this value that we know when it goes to 0, it goes to a test your might in 2-player mode, is that it's also changed in 1-player mode as well. So we can use that same value to use as our location to store between either 1-player or 2-player modes, and call our custom option into play to see how many matches before a test your might is required.
Liu Kang wins. Flawless victory. Fight! Finish him! Liu Kang wins. Flawless victory.
Alright, so is this the match or is it next?
Test your might.
Alright, so we're good, I guess, as 2-player as well.
Test your might.
You can't buy in at the test your might screen, apparently. Alright, so yeah, that's the deal here. Let's see, let's do 105, 1A80, and then the other one was 105, 1A20. So if we set this to 5, is that going to work? Oh no, I just thought maybe that's the problem, it's not matching.
Test your might. Fight!
Alright, so I'm kind of at a loss. What did I do to cause that to crash? Hmm. One. Yeah. Hmm. Let me double check a few things. I'm almost sure I didn't do anything related to, but 93 DO. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? What is this? What is going on here? That code looks like it's in a custom location. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, that's good. That's in the normal. That's actually right. Wait a minute. Oh, it is. Okay. What is... Character ID subs, 93 DO. Let's see what that is. Let's see what that is. And that is in the routine of, I want to say, what is that? FFFF 8000. Okay, so let's see where this takes us here. Our string name. Okay, yeah, this pretty much puts Reptile's name into play on the tower. That's all that does. So it has nothing to do with two-player test you might whatsoever. Alright. No, still on the hunt for the crashing line. Let's see. I went through a couple breakpoints and was going through the linear process, so it didn't seem to be a crash within that process. It seems to be it might have been something else that was spawned and it didn't like a value that it was handed. I'm assuming, but. Alright, so, EC3ACE. So this one here is not used yet. I know that. Close that down. Just want to double check, make sure I didn't insert something and then not finish it, but no, that's good. So still, there's nothing that I can think of that would have any bearing on two-player test your might. Even if it was Reptile, Reptile will definitely crash it because he's not
he's not in the equation yet for expected character ID. But that would crash only if it was reptile, and it would crash one player or two player. So, it's interesting. Derek, you can probably search for like a Z80 assembler. There's probably a ton of those out there. Those run a lot of late 70s, early 80s games. Pac-Man and such. I don't know if that's what you're looking to do. Alright, so we'll just have to grind this out and go through this process and see where exactly this thing is taking a wrong turn, and try to find out why. Alright, so the only difference between player 1 and player 2 is where they jump from. They both run this. They both realign the... well, let me see something. This is probably not it. I'm just gonna not realign this stack pointer and see what happens. I'm assuming it's not gonna do anything, but probably make matters worse. Because it seems like it gets a little bit further than this area before it crashes, but it's an idea, so let's try it. And if it did work, that would be really interesting, because then we have to find out where our stack is. Nope, didn't make a difference there. Okay. Yeah, I can step through it. So this is where it checks the value. If it's 0, it's going to trigger the test your might. So since we're in a call, it's going to realign the stack there. It's going to call this routine, which is going to reset that countdown timer, and then it's going to jump to the address that's shared between player 1 and player 2. It's going to format. It's going to clear some values. Flag for health bar. It's going to move the game mode. It's got a couple other flags which are unknown. This is some string setup stuff here. Let's see here. So that's one string, 2 strings. Let's set a breakpoint for here and walk through this stage load. See if there's anything funny about that. So that should be the background color. Matter of fact, since we've got that, let's define that that RAM right there. 105.11.12. 105.11.20. I mean, these are all mixed up. These need to be sorted. Let's see. So that's going to be stage background color 105.11.20. Shadow offset, and then A1 is going to be 0. Stage offset Y, and then this is probably going to be also the camera location. This is going to clear out layers. Left hand stage, that looks good. Right hand stage edge. This is going to call this routine. This is probably a return. Oh, it's not a return. Okay, so this stage when it's drawn, it's calling a routine. It's building some segments here. Update a stage layer. And then that's it for that call. Grab our data pointer back in AO. 1, 2. This is gonna build the rest of the stage here by layers, and all that looks good. Not exactly sure what this is doing after the stage. It's doing some other setups for the stage. But it goes a bit further than that, so I didn't think anything was crashing in there. We can go as far as, well, we've got other threads here that we might want to check out along the way, but for instance, we got this one. And well, let's do this. Let's step through this. This is creating the character. Alright, so we'll put our breakpoint on A7 right here. We'll investigate that. So A7 looks like it's going to be shared. It's going to be the thread control for the player. If you go down further, you can see where it's assigned for player 2 as well. And I believe it's probably going to be the same. We got E410 for that one. This is E360. Okay, we've got that, as a matter of fact. It's right up here already, so we don't have to point that or breakpoint it. Alright, so that's building player 1's character. Now we got a value here at 105, 11DO. I'm not sure what that one is. Let's go check player 2's down here. It doesn't set it like it does player 1, but let me do this here. Let me see. There's our stage. There's our character, but did you see something funny? I saw, which isn't gonna matter, but Raiden looked kind of funny. It may just be the timing of the crash. So let's load this up again and do different characters.
Sonia. Sonia.
Hey, what's up, Micah? How you doing? Oh, look at that, Sonia's already chopping wood. Then it crashes. Is there something with my controls that are sticking or something like that? That'd be crazy. Wouldn't think so. Alright, so
Sonia. Sub-Zero.
960, let's make sure we have that one. It doesn't even.
Sub-Zero. Sonia. Sonia. Sub-Zero. Liu Kang. Kano.
That's odd. Oh, they just load like that initially and you just don't see it because it's so fast, or if that's part of the problem. I'm doing good, man. Nice of you to join the stream here. We're just chasing down a bug that just sort of popped up out of nowhere, which I have no idea why. But we got a crash when two players are in a test your might. One player is fine, it doesn't crash if it's just one player, but if there's two players, we got crashola. Man, that's crazy. I don't understand why or what happened to cause this. That music's just gonna play forever. Yeah, we were in the middle of just hooking up that new option, and we were looking for the ideal location to put it in, and that crash just happened. I just noticed it, and that's what I've been chasing out for the past 20 minutes now. And I don't have a clue where it's coming from. What I can do is, let's do this. Let's take a look at our process that it crashes in.
Sub-Zero. Sonia.
One 105, 33, 20. 105, 33, 20. So let's do this. Let's do pressure point A0 equals 105, 33, 20. we will find out what process the last process that it runs.
Sub-Zero. Sonya.
Alright, so let's get rid of these breakpoints. Oh, 53320. Did I not? It's probably running now. So let's do. Yeah, it is running now. 105. 3320. That's the main process here. Let's see. So if we 53320. Yeah, I call Ed Boon, ask him what's up. That's gonna be great. Let's see. Could there be, this is gonna be a long shot, but let me try something here. Let's do something here.
Sub-Zero. Kano.
Okay. No difference.
Kano. Sub-Zero.
105, 3320 again.
Kano. Sub-Zero.
So we got. Let's see, I got another idea here. Three F seems to be a value that is usually done when you try to retrieve a value from the address 0.
Kano. Sub-Zero.
Okay, no, that's just a part of, that was the other thing I was thinking, it's part of the formatting. Alright, so scratch that. Alright, let's see. see. Let's do a breakpoint FF DA DC. We'll track this down. I don't think there's nothing. I don't think there's anything I can't find in this game. I'll trace it back to.
Kano, Sub-Zero.
FDC AD BC AD Yo. Okay, so that's good. For F4 790 for F 970. Yeah, he's definitely just. I think his title nowadays is creative director, I believe. So he just does just that. He just points his finger pretty much and tells his programmers what he wants, and they make it happen. That breakpoint is. Alright, so this is definitely delaying production here. I'm curious, so let's do this. Let's fire up an original factory revision here, and let's try something here.
Sub-Zero Raiden, test your might.
No, probably not, Derek.
Fight.
Yeah, that would be terrible for Mamers. Alright, so, let's see here. Job feeds, it's something that I've done somewhere, but, I mean, I can't tell you the last time I did a 2-player test your might though, so I'm not sure when this went bad. So let's, so like I'm going through my routines in my head, and I'm not coming up with any routine that would be related to it whatsoever. We got the main menu that we updated. Just to use its own set of strings instead of relying on the ones from the settings routine. And that wasn't anything except for adding a few strings and pointing to them. So I've got to say that it wasn't the main menu that we edited today. We did a settings thing. Maybe we should, let's see. Yeah, I was just thinking about that too, Abyssus. I was just thinking about the cheat stuff. 'Cause I don't think it was anything I did today, because all I did today was put a new option in the test menu, which isn't even hooked into any kind of new code. And yesterday was the cheat stuff, so let's plug into this and see if there's some, you know what, it probably is, because I hope it is. It seems like it could be something related to this, since it is 2 players and it goes to the versus screen, but before it hits the versus screen it does the test your might. So let's check this out. I have some optimism in this one. Oh, look at that, doesn't even touch him. Doesn't even hit the hooks, so that's no bueno. Yeah, so much for that idea. Yeah, it's... Well, the clearing the cheat flags happens at the actual round start, so this crashes way before that. It doesn't even get past the test your might. It doesn't even get to that point yet. So let's see. What's our best option here to find these is to just set hooks or set breakpoints on hooks and see what is the last one to run. So this one's not even in play yet. Alright, so what else did we do? We did so we did a cheat system there, which none of those break, so those are fine. Combo display, I highly doubt it. Turbo mode adjustments, I doubt it. Yeah, this hasn't been touched in. That hasn't been touched in forever. That's not used. That one we went through. You can check out that character win pose script at the end of the character selection, but I don't know, maybe it's something that's that is flowing over from the character win pose routine that has always caused a problem, but wasn't noticeable until we had a two-player test your might. It's possible. So let's do that. Let's go to character win pose on selection. And let's look at our processes here, or our flow. We've got win pose, win pose. This is before it even loads. This is before it loads. Before it loads, or when it loads and it's checking for inputs.
Sub-Zero, Kano. Sub-Zero, Kano. Sub-Zero, Kano.
Oops, I'm sorry, I was muted the whole time. I removed the win pose from the equation to see if it did anything different, just to see if the win poses were causing an issue. That was good, wasn't anything with the win pose. And unfortunately, I haven't started even tracking a change log on this project at all, so I don't have any older builds to lie back or fall back on to see when this started happening. So I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass about that right now. Let's see, that's out of the equation. That's out. That's out. That's out. That's out. That's out. That doesn't even break. I don't believe this is even in the equation at all, but we'll try that out really fast.
Kano, Johnny Cage.
Okay, we do have a break on the ladder randomizer. Let's see what happens here. AO equals 1. Alright, so we are... Okay, so going into that I knew I could sacrifice A0, so that's fine. I want control status. Clear AO. Okay, so this is right where we're jumping to our test our might. Pretty much checks to see if it's 2 players, and then if it is, check the test your might match count. Alright, so that led us to that, which we know fine up until then. Alright, so back to the test your might routine. There's got to be something in this routine that I'm missing. It's causing an issue. So let's see, let's look at this a little closely. Yeah. Alright, so let me turn that down a little bit. So let's look in this routine for player for control status here. Looks like we have player 1 control status there. Player 2 control status. And 1A70. So 105, 1A70, and 105, 1A60. Okay, we've already got those over here. Let's just pick this routine apart and see what it does in its entirety. I want to see the point where it decides which side to draw, if it's 1 player or 2 player. So let's get to this DO70 and take a look at it. Alright, so it's going to process string header in A8 for player 1. If player 1 is human controlled, and that string header was E150. That is for that array we found from the materials, the name of the materials, wood, stone, steel, ruby, and diamond. I don't see any accidental button presses that overwrote any data. So I'm going to say that's probably fine. Oh, I see. So it looks like I found some new RAM values here. Let me put these over before I forget. It looks like 105, 1A60. This is all test your might stuff. So test your mights. Player 1 material. That looks like it's 105, 1A60. 0 equals wood, 1 equals stone, 2 equals steel, 3 equals ruby, and 4 equals diamond. And we'll do the same thing for player 2. So that's where it pulls in what type of material you are to break. So it looks like player 1 and player 2 command 2 different types of material. Alright, so let's make sure we're pulling valid valid string locations here. I don't know why they wouldn't be, but alright, so that's good. What was our return address on this? 510, I believe. So let's play this. Let's get out of that one. FFDB D280 D220. Alright, that's the same. So I wonder if it's let's do this while I'm thinking about it. Let's do let's go back to this screen. Let's change the value type or the material type and see if we have the same issue. Oh, we probably only need one window for that.
Sub-Zero Kano. Sub-Zero Kano.
Alright, fellas. I have to put this on pause here until tomorrow. I'm getting a 3rd degree from the wife right now. So I'm making it off of here. Go spend some time with her. And hopefully tomorrow when we get back here, I can figure out where the hell I went wrong on this, because this is crazy. It's been a long time since I fell into a trap like this. But I'll figure it out. And I'll see you guys probably tomorrow night, around the same time. So thanks for watching, and I will check you guys out later.